Okay, Fambulem, warm greetings from the Then and Now platform. They come to Una today. The 14th of March, 2021 is a Sunday. And once again, we bring Una warm greetings from the Then and Now platform. We are about 18 minutes into the time we'll promise that we go broadcast. And this has nothing, the delay has nothing to do with technical issues. They just get directly for do something with me because I pass one or two places as usual for talk to Fambulem, who can derive me energy from and try for formulate things they all want for talk about, forget a general view, a general perspective, different opinions from different people, different shades, all walks of life. So anyway, once more, Fambulem, Una, welcome to this massive program and massive greetings from the Then and Now platform. Where they talk to Una today, the 14th of March, 2021, Mina Prince Emil Koma, and I thank Una very much for tuning in. As usual, do Una we shape the broadcast. We no need for hesitate with our feelings. As Sierra Leoneans, we do have a civic and a civic responsibility for talk on issues pertaining to the matters of state, because waiting to transpire at the execution of duties in terms of the state does affect us. And it gets a long repercussion. We long, probably, most likely after us. Then things that they get for come for hunt. We own picking them. We picking them, if you will like. Now, it makes it important that we have these conversations that we are having. And we try for, despite the errors, and try for getting right. So today, the question where we ask is almost like a proposition. Well, it's one of the strange propositions because what can they do proposition in an academic sort of setting is you get a fors and the against. But in this case, I make the proposition, ask this question, which is the former brigadier, retired brigadier, or we current head of state making an historic mistake or squandering an opportunity? There are many ways where you can put them, both in the past and the present, or present continuous tense, whichever way, but it should be reflective of the general conversation where we want to forget. So is this current president, His Excellency Julius Maada, they squander an opportunity of a second time at the presidency? This is not the proposition where I make. Of course, it's a monologue, so I'm not get a guest where I have to have a back and forth with. But of course, I do have public opinion, and I get Una where they watch. So on this day, I ask you, please, Una, let me share this video so that we all can have this conversation and we take and go forward. The chat room is open. Let me keep it respectful. It's a short one, 45 minutes, 1 hour. Today, I promise not to go over 1 hour. I promise, hopefully, God willing. But the chat room open, so let's have a conversation there. But let's keep it respectful. So the premise here today is President Julius Maada Bio, I ask again, is President Julius Maada Bio squandering an opportunity at a second chance, a second spell in power? Normally, like I say, this is different in terms of a proposition where we can make on an academic level, where you get the fors and the against, the pros and the cons. But again, is he making a mistake? Is he squandering the opportunity? And from the chair, Usa Asidon, I want to say, yes, the current president is squandering if he has not already squandered. Because probably some may say, those that we agree, say, well, he gets an opportunity for change the dynamics, even though it's not long, because it's a 5-year parliament. It's not like you have forever, despite the challenges, but we can make measurements. Now I make every other 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, we can get an appraisal then for see how much or how far we don't go and what are we doing, what we don't achieve, what were our objectives, what are the goals where we set. And going forward within the period, periodically, we come and check and see how much are we doing. And Fambulem, here is the thing. So like I've been saying, we asked the question, and let me just send quick greetings. Maxile, good evening from France. Ah, wow, France. Good evening, France. Bonsoir, Français. Comment tu t'appelles là-bas? On est très high school French. Yeah. Est-ce que tu comprends français ou bien anglais? Thank you so much. France, thank you for watching and the conversation of France. I really appreciate your presence. Poppy Aaron, thank you, Poppy Aaron. Poppy Aaron, of course, I no need for say, but help for Chib. And who else is this? Bala Musa Koroma, good evening, Koroma from Koinadugu district. Hello, Koinadugu. Hello. How you do, Bala? Happy for seeing you on the platform. And thank you so much for tuning in. Bala Musa Koroma, same Bala went on to ask, both APC and SLPP has failed this nation. I agree with you, Bala. We're going to talk about that. I absolutely agree with you. Anyway, Fambulem, let me move on. So we asked this question or make a proposition. Is Julius Maada Bio making a mistake about, in second spell government? And we want to take the position, or I want to take the position of yes, based on multiple things. One, circumstantial. Two, physical evidence where we can refer to. Physical evidence where we can refer to. So both the circumstances and the physical evidence we can refer to as we see things how they are playing out. There might be excuses, but these are just the facts, okay? So Famula, let me just create a quick background or a quick premise of where we are. Some 2 decades plus ago, we wouldn't take something like 30 years, okay? So during a certain period in our history, there was a coup plot executed by members of the armed forces of Sierra Leone, in which young people then became the leaders of the country. They became the face of the country, headed by one Captain Valentine Strasser. Maada Bio, the current president, was part of that process during that period. And a lot of us, not about age business, but a lot of us will witness are very much alive today. Know what happened then, they see what happened now. So the current president, they part of that process, they will overthrow a very corrupt, a very inept government at the time. They took over, but no sooner than they are taking over, inexperience robbed them of waiting, most of what we expect them for do. For bring that changes the way we expect. And this current president was very much part of that process. Sooner they themselves became very, very corrupt in the process where they overthrew and the accusations where they make. Charge ex-president Joseph, ex-brigadier Julius, Joseph Momo, of negligence, rampant corruption, and etc., etc. And when they not overthrow them, they explain to you what anyone can do. But obviously, that also ended in a failure. And we current president overthrew the guy where they all overthrew together in the palace coup, and he became the head of state for 3 months. 3 months he headed the government and did a transition for which some refer him to as being the father of democracy. Okay, it's very contentional. Some people then they say no, others are saying yes, but there's some truth to that, because finally he did give up power. And then after he gave up power for over 20 some more years, over 2 decades, we current president sat in the sidelines and watched as things unfold. As things unfolded, some of us begin to develop confidence in them when the 2018 elections begin to draw near. Because by then, the rulership in the country under the All People's Congress of Ernest Bai Koroma may not become tainted with actions of corruption or corrupt practices where we make Salon people them so upset to a point where they may actually want changes themselves. And then changes, then they will be see them, then come out for play out when the elections was held. Suffice me to say that yes, you get few people that will say X, Y, Z, the elections was won by others, and etc. But in the end, The Julius Maada bill, we sit down for over 20 some more years, they watch from the sideline, will make some of us had faith in him. And this is what the argument is. Because some people like you want cheapen the debate, they want cheapen, make them cheap the argument. Whatever you say you are APC or you are SLPP, I don't buy into that at all. I can understand the argument. But as a person of policy, I say, whoever the person is, whatever the government is, the shade, the color, as long as it's the policy or the policy what they talk about is correct, you've got my support. Because why? I am a true citizen. I am, I repeat, a true citizen. This is what I base my arguments on. As long as the country benefits, then it is of some relief or of some kind of respite to me. So therefore, when this current president declare in presidency, of course, I wouldn't be lying to you. I'm a straight shooter. I mean, get me skepticism. But because of waiting with the happen in the government, and most people been aspire for change, it's like, well, this guy, and I'm speaking on the record, this guy, this is our current leader, he don't sit down for quite a while from far away, they observe exactly waiting to happen. This was my argument then. He inherits power in a palace school, and then handed over power. No one going to detail about that. Handed over power. But of course, like every mortal man, we do make mistakes. And definitely, this man must have sat after, say, well, the reason why he give power over, whatever arrangement they may reach, it's not satisfactory. Because what he was expecting not really happened. They may have given him a loan. They may have given him a promise. They may have given him a grant. Say, go out, go study. Go enjoy yourself. You are still relatively young. You can go develop yourself, and then you can come later, okay? But then, as he sat on the sidewalk and see how things may play out, things not going to go quite well. But for over 2 decades, he watched that, and we make people like we can start for believe in them. Say, well, if you be not did it before, that means you were privy to certain things then. If you did from afar and they watch things the way they go on, and you know say they are not right because most of us saw certain things or great many things that were not right, and you see them as well, then that means there's a possibility of you coming to make these things right. So therefore, we can lend you with support on those bases. And we did lend them with support in different shades and kinds. You get people who are the diehards who say, this is the man we want. You get the professionals, then we'll look at them and say, well, on the basis of policy, we are going to support you because what you see now is not going actually well. So therefore, we go try for change things by instituting a new discipline, a new government, a new guru in town. So when you coin that adage, you know, you're like new direction, that resonated with a lot of people because the fact here is a lot of people, a lot of Sierra Leoneans being done very much tired with that old performance of the people that we've been in power. It's like we saw this as a corrupt enterprise. So when you talk about a new direction, wow, that resonated with a host of people and say, we are going to go with this new direction. This new direction is a direction which is promising us a new start, a new beginning into something which might generate some sort of respite or equality or equity, justice for we people. And that was why most people went along, including myself. Not entirely, I talk about me now, but to some degree, because again, many publications then where I talk about the manifesto, and to this day, the manifesto colorful. Waiting I know now, the amount of support I would not have given that support. But then, yes, I did support it because when you look at the agriculture policy, it was extremely brilliant. When you look at maritime, fisheries, tourism policy, extremely brilliant. Education policy, extremely brilliant. This was something well written. And except you are a fool, that's the only way. When I say fool, I mean, you not get the sense of reasoning because you just engage and attach with a particular body. And so therefore, they make any progress for, say, make a think independently or out of the box. That's why you will not support. Like how we can get, your party picking and I see the APC so, and then they go anywhere else, MENA APC. I see the SLPP, which is part of what our problem is, and we need for try for disengage, which this platform they try for do for provide the information they let people they make an informed choice on things them way they want to do or the direction in which they want to vote or weigh in their conversations on this public platform the way we talk about on a level. You don't have to be a college graduate, a university graduate, because everything boils down to common sense. But information of the right kind can help for let you make the decision in the. So yes, on the basis of policy, I supported the president, this current president. It's like new direction. Wow, let's see what is direction. Away from the old. This is what we need to understand. Away from the old, let's get a new direction. Because a new direction certainly will try to help this nation. Unfortunately, I can go on and on, but that never helped, and we get the benefit of hindsight, and we see that. Hence, waiting precipitated the question where we ask or the proposition where we make in terms of, is this president squandering, making mistake of a second stint, a second spell in our government at the helm? Not of us say you're not deputy, not of us say you're under or you're subordinate to someone else. No, this is not the case. You are the boss man. You are the main man. You get an opportunity for make this once in a lifetime change. And the intentions could be there, but the practice, the physicality of issues on the ground, we are not seeing it as Sierra Leoneans. And so therefore, some of us who had faith in you that there's going to be a change, hopefully, are not seeing those changes happening, yet it is promise upon promise, and the shady characters that are around the president are also making things difficult for the country. And I don't speak for His Excellency Julius Maada because he seldomly speaks, but the idea we will go by, show me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are. So on that basis, if I get people like the chief minister around you, if I get people like the finance minister, JJ Blood, around you, if I get the ACC boss around you, and waiting then they do will seem for represent waiting you, the president, want, because you cannot tell us, the Sierra Leonean people, that you are oblivious of what the realities on the ground are. Then sure enough, you and them, you are in support of waiting than they do. And as we understand the presidency, the kind of power and all that the presidency holds, lo and behold, waiting them people how they do, it has to be in your behalf. Something like, even if you don't approve of them, or you don't know of them, but when you get to know of them, then definitely it does make sense to you, and that's what you want, and that's what they're going by, because they can lose their jobs at the click of a finger. So the allegiance is not to country, but rather to you. And Fambule, and this is exactly the case what I want to make here tonight. So I ask Una once more, Una let we shape this program. Don't be selfish. The national conversation is on. We can continue for trade blames, but it's time that we take a step back and try for phantom the entire program exercise atmosphere as to where we were, where we are, and also we want to go or where we are heading. This decision then now we on, not to anybody else but us. Very, very important that we understand this. Okay? 60 years of independence, there's not much that we can talk about. There's not much that we can boast about on the outside of a country. The infrastructures are dilapidated. They are crumbling. The politics is crass and toxic and very much an identity kind of politics. We are being played, then they shape we, only for let them profit. And I'm talking about all sides. Don't you start pointing finger at me as if I'm speaking to one specific side. I'm talking about every side. How do we change these dynamics? How do we get a paradigm shift from what we are? I do believe that something is shifting. There is a new sense of feeling around the general conversation. How do we sustain this is very, very important to me. Very, very important to me, and I'm sure to you as well. Something has to change. Other than that, history not will forgive any one of us. Both of us that are in the diaspora, some of us, we feel comfortable. I don't know how comfortable we feel. Certainly, I'm in the diaspora, but I don't feel comfortable. Every day I spend in the diaspora, my mind is home. My mind is with my family. My mind is with my brothers. My mind is with my sisters, my cousins. This is where my mind is home. I know that I'm a stranger in a country that say then give me some harbor, but real, I am home. Family, of course, I should have said this from the beginning of the program. May I use this opportunity as you just clicked on me head for extend a massive congratulations, massive greetings to all the women them with beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous, fabulous, voluptuous salon women them. Of course, headed by my dear wife, me ride or die, my special wife, me wife, me picking them mama, and to all the salon people them, all the women them around the world, a massive Mother's Day. Like I said on my page earlier, may your labor, and they talk about the Mamiden labor, be your portion. May your labor be your portion. Somebody sent me, two people and sent me messages. No, you really talk about the mommy. Of course, I lost my mama a couple of years ago. It doesn't mean that she's not on my mind. I could have used the same platform for express Mother's Day greetings to her, but I decided for doing privately. My mama and the late Sarah Beatrice Kroma, boy Kroma, Sarah Beatrice Kroma, Ni Cocker. I'm from the lineage of a chieftaincy from Rotifunk, southeastern Sierra Leone. And my mama, the late Sarah B. Cocker Kroma, later on married, of course, Kroma. May her soul rest in perpetual peace. Mami Kroma, love you so much, ma, to the end. But when they talk about the things that way they happen now, because let the dead lie in peace. The living, me and you watching, me talking, we continue for struggle. So we go back to President Bill. Is he squandering a second opportunity? And we take that position there for say, yes, he is, both physically in terms of evidence and circumstantially. Now, let me look at some of the things that why we do agree, say, yes, the president is squandering a golden opportunity. We could ask the question, how popular he is, because in modern politics, we can able to do ratings. How many people in the support him? We can put a fixed number, but we can use a percentile basis and decide, say, if 51 they support him because it's the same basis of elections. You will get the highest number, 51 plus 52. Now you're not the winner, which means that more people support you than the other people that will support you. Opponent. It's the same thing in terms of statistics on the basis of who would appreciate you. So this president is a weak president. I don't wish him that. That's just what it is. He is a weak president. Things are not happening for his people. We can make the excuse whatever as to waiting to happen and why, but the fact of the matter is things are out of place. Things are not really happening for the broader masses of Sierra Leonean people. Now, the president took over on the basis of he was popular. The same thing I just say, because more people vote for him. On the basis of that percentage, he win power. And all the Bush radio or Bush talk. George Bush and you can't vote for him or shift the gear. No. Left that one day. The end of the day, he won the elections. He won the elections and was given the mandate on the basis of a new direction. The man clearly has failed us on the basis of waiting he promised we about a new direction. Fambula, no, not ever forget, because this is where they play us. Executive order number 1. What did it say? What did it promise the Sierra Leonean people? Okay? It talk about plug-in leakages, because you don't accuse the people the way you take over from. Say, these set of people are corrupt. They are very corrupt. And so therefore, when we come to power, now we people the interest now it matter to we most than the other one that we did it, because the other one that we did it is all about themselves. But when we come, we can change this narrative into a new direction, in which executive number one go be the utmost play for we government, which is all the leakages there where they happen. So usai corrupt, pump open, usai pump not for open, we lock them. And when we lock them, of course, because what's happening in the commodity, that water they come on other side, usai, now we direct them, usai it they go. Not to usai the other one, they will be in a power, they get them. Good. Executive number one, fiscal discipline. What's in a fiscal discipline? All the excessive spending them of government, whether or not airplane you they fly, you they go on a government mission, but you don't need for sit on a class one. When I say class one, I mean like how they call them executive class on board an airplane. We go take you away from there and then allow you for let you ride economy class, and in so doing, you save boku money for government. We go also do many other things. We go save government money and show we people and say we mean business. Family, and we only need for ask ourselves the questions. Has that happened? The answer, we know even the means we want, is no. We've seen more excesses, we've seen more corruption, and I don't say this lightly. It's just a fact that a government report, the accountant general, the auditor general of the country in report, which I always like to quote because I like references, not to Bush Radio, me not to looking, me not to Moriman, not to looking gonna the look, not to future at the foretell on the basis of a sleeper gap and just think. No, I believe in science. Science is exact, if not exact. 2 + 2 is equal to 4, 3 × 3 is 9. This versus that is equal to that. The least common denominator, and things like that. These are things that you can factor. And you not even need complex mathematical formulas for arrive at this. Sometimes, yes, you do need complex mathematical formulas, but not all of the time, especially with this. You need to look at the economy, how they play, how many people are employed. And then we'll keep for the play with or tell me where we employ 10,000 people, but other people, they are having problems. You say you give teachers them PIN code. And yes, you may very well have done that, but you overplay them to a point now say, well, people in come out, so you get 10,000 people PIN code, 1,000 people in the come out, 5,000 people in the come out. It's like, hey, we've got PIN codes, but where is the money? You haven't paid us. You haven't. So all the things they happen. Now let me look at the diplomatic level. There are a few things that I want to say quickly. And I say this broadcast is not going to be long tonight. We make it short and sweet. And we get roughly about 25 more minutes. Yeah, 25 more minutes. Family, here is the thing, okay? Retired Brigadier Julius Maada had a brilliant opportunity at a second spell in government. One, you've been on past day before, even though you not pass, you probation test for 3 months. So sometimes we hear, oh yeah, I've been there before. You've been there before, what did you learn? But the opportunity was there after you were taken out prematurely, or you given up power prematurely. You then sit on the watch, things them way you've been supposed to do, where you been need for do, where you not do. So for over 2 decades, I get friends them, I get publications them, where I say, this current president may have had a blank slate in which he was writing the entire history, waiting happened during the time he been there, up to the time where he come day, when a long time, 20 some more years in politics. So he gets an opportunity because he been write in pencil that when something changed, these are his thoughts. He write them down, but in pencil, when something changed, because now in pencil, he can easily come and erase them and correct them the way I will see them later, going forward 20 some more years on. So much so that when he get the opportunity for a second spell, I had no hesitation and I'm on record for saying, yes, this man will try to make a difference on the basis of waiting I just developed just now. But this was not supposed to be. Because why? Same thing, same. Where politics is driven by identity politics, by ethno-regionalism, ethno-tribalism, ethnicity. Now we come on southeast. Now we come on northwest. Now we come on southwest. That's what our politics is driven by. And when I say this, these are just facts. But how can we change this? Because we've been practicing this for 60 years. Mind you, April 27, when election fever, they begin for grip with country again. Now, two things and then our calendar period for this particular year. Elections, not in its physicality, but the warm-up to elections. Because one, we got to forget the 2022 election, then ward elections, then constituency elections, and we got to determine as to the strength of both sides, the way they compete, or all the sides, the way they compete. That is a determining factor. That is the litmus test about 2023. Is soon to come upon us. And this 2021, mid-2021, April, May, June, that practice, they go day in earnest. It go day on. And at the same time, we get with 60th year independence anniversary, and we as a people, what can we really boast of? What can we really talk about? What can we really showcase to the outside world? What can we? So there's an argument there to be made, but not to be distracted. We come back again to retired brigadier, His Excellency, current President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada, is he squandering a second chance? And that proposition they coming from me today, I believe strongly, yes. You may disagree, absolutely. I may not agree with that, but I will respect your decision. But you equally need to provide to with the circumstances under which you think is successful, not driven or based on ethno-regionalism, not tribalism, not on the basis of the kind lens where you wear because it's reflecting the party colors of which the president belonged to, but try for be a citizen. A citizen will consider the length and a citizen, a person will consider the length and breadth of the country, the state of the country, the state of the economy, the benefits for everybody, not one certain group of people. Policies driven by, if not largely on a national basis, which is supposed to be, but at least it's focused on areas or people where are most poverty stricken, because now that's supposed to be government in business, not for sell policy for votes, but rather for take you people in from the doldrums of poverty. That's what we need for do. Unfortunately, the kind of politics we practice is everything for sale. Whether or not award, for fighting corruption is for sale. When I say for sale, because the kind of people that we deal with, you might find it difficult to understand. But when you go back again to the WikiLeaks program, the Sierra Leaks rather, and the Auditor General in report and see some of the monies which were spent on consultancy, on PRs. We know they say government can't do that. But when they do that now on a selfish basis, just for galvanized support towards them that they are doing well because they are being endorsed by international people, for example, the US State Department. The US State Department does not understand the nitty-gritty on the ground, and this is just a fact. We know when it comes to we can sort of see ourselves as substandard. I don't agree with that at all, because they get the measurements that we can use and then depend on the people on the ground. So when you see like the chief minister, for example, they spend thousands and thousands of US dollars in terms of PR campaigns. Now, because of that thing there, because you want a positive press, even at the Western world, they do these things. A government wants a positive press. They spend loads and loads of money on pressure groups, buyout, your civil society groups. So those reports, where they eventually go to the people and where they do the algorithm on whether the country or the leadership in the country is doing well. These are the things that these people and they do. Now their efforts, their focus. So they're not mind for spending thousands. So some of the thousands of pounds or dollars where you see spent, like for example, on consultancy, this is real. It's embezzlement, it's corruption, but they use them because now the available funds down there for sell themselves to the international community, and the subsequent report we go come out, not the international community, we donor partners them, go favor them, put them in a good light. Governments the world over practice that. The Israelis are very good at this because their image is trash and tarnished. So they depend more on lobby groups. So they can buy senators, congressmen. They buy them with physical money because elections, politics is about money. We need to understand all of these things, but not drifting away again. The proposition here tonight is President Julius Maada abusing, squandering a second opportunity at power or in power. I say yes to that proposition. You have your position to that. I may not agree, but I do respect your position. But at the same time, I ask that you support them, just like what they try for do. I support them with waiting at the say. So this president will get this opportunity after he carved this mantra, this adage, this acronym, this new direction, which resonated with a lot. And we go and talk on about a manifesto. The manifestos were great. All waiting in the inside be huge, it been big up to this day. Just that they are not delivering, and what will they come up with? And very soon we get a couple of programs that line up. One is the 23 broken promises of Julius Maada. 23. They are. Some of us now agree that the First Lady, they help for dent the confidence of this government. They do this current government injustice. Would they fail for understand, say this First Lady sit on a tape before TV and tell the entire world, not only Sierra Leoneans, the entire world say, I not take 1 cent. Okay, I not they receive 1 cent. Instead, what you see and waiting, people and they talk about, now we had earned money, be it furniture, be it this, and make a good case. Of course, we not expect the office of the First Lady to be empty, to be devoid of furnitures. There has to be furnitures. It entertain guests when they come and get for sit down. How does that translate to you they get a freebie from government where according to the constitution, according to law, you should not. Nobody know they say you not forget chair. Nobody know they say, but when you forget chair, and not mean say they have to abuse the process. That's the difference. So this First Lady is also helping to disengage the president in program, depending on how serious the president is. Because if he is serious, then he needs to put his foot down as the boss. Most of you, when they watch the program, we get homes. Some of us with homes are very successful, with children and good wives. Some of us are not. It's just the nature of life. Some homes, they don't disintegrate. Some people, they wife them or they husband them. It's not going on well. The children, them, they are doing, they're awful and etc. While some homes are very successful. So these things, they happen. But how you conduct yourself now at the home, in the terms of the First Lady and the President and our government, this is not only a private life. The reason we can make some of us weigh into that conversation there is because it's not really a private life. It's a very public life in which we get stake inside. We do have a future inside it. That's why we do weigh into these debates. So if the wife of the president is taking money from the CRF, the Consolidated Revenue Fund, without due process of the law, we know say some people and they try to interpret the law to read differently. We know we almost live in an age of Orwellian or alternative reality, waiting suit you reality. We heard that waiting the woman name will be Donald Trump in government. Kellyanne Conway. We talk about alternative reality. That was a new, the new normal. Now the woman been coined so in that short interview where he been getting at the lawn of the White House about alternative facts. So which means that you can get your set of facts and I can get my set of facts, which is right, but there must be something in the middle that justifies it. Other than that, there's going to be chaos. But that's what she did. And that now we see they play out alternative facts. So you get yours, I get mine, and some people they make the arguments on that basis. It doesn't mean that it's right, because what is right is actually there. The law says that the First Lady in office is not even ceremonial office, not even tertiary. It's not a public office. She doesn't belong to the structure, the political structure of the government. So therefore, it's not entitled to anything from the CRF. That's what it says. So for people away, assumably think say they know, for one can tell we other thing. You know, it's like, the Finance Act, mind you, these are people who did not recognize the Finance Act. Once it been there in violation of other things that they try to do. But then suddenly, when it suits them, they then recognize it as some kind of a law. Well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't work that way. This is not the disingenuity what we talk about with so-called, people them. People that we assumably think say they learn, or we think say other people are stupid, that we all not able to read ABC, or there's no common sense. And that's why we're not making progress. But let's stray too far again. We come back again to the proposition, is this current president making a mockery, deviating, squandering a second chance opportunity? Definitely he is. And let me make my final point, because we're coming quickly to the end of this program. On the basis of diplomacy, because you don't operate alone in this modern world that we live, no man is an island, even long time before, but somebody managed to do that. It's like say now, you think say you can thief, what been happened before, and you can go lay down some side, put all your money in offshore. It does not happen in the 21st century, no, because you're not going to have peace of mind. And typically that's what we see they happen. Thief when the thief, normally, we will not hear this. They are used to it. Whether not APC, whether not SLPP, they are used to it. We are seeing a new beginning. This is why sometimes I put on my blog page then, I am feeling, not only seeing, but I'm feeling a change. There is a paradigm shift. There is a cultural change. Why? Because there has been a cultural shock. It's no longer the same. The norm is no longer the same. It has changed. It might take time for it to dwindle down, for it to have that effect that we seek, that we aspire for. But definitely, it's never going to be the same. One thing I know is the First Lady is damaged. I can say that publicly. She is damaged. Her supporters may not agree, but the fact speaks for itself. She is damaged. She was caught on tape denying the obvious. When Africanist press produced physical, tangible evidence, all they could make was a weak argument, which is preposterous, ludicrous, unacceptable, and basically just they try to insult the intelligence of the Sierra Leonean people. And why? Governments upon governments, not only these ones, previous one, they don't do the same thing to the Sierra Leonean people, then take we for granted. So they think say they can mesmerize we, they can baffle we. And you play, how they call this thing, the Miguel one gamble, take this you win, take this you lost, upside down, something like that. And that's it, it's done, and we move on. You are mistaken. That's exactly what it is. The woman was caught on tape, denying, say, well, I don't get no money, or the money the way Mr. Chen Robali talk about, this now money the way, and me and my husband, we had work money 22 years. Now, if she got proven wrongly, instead of to make the argument on that basis, they even the First Lady, including the Chief Minister who was accused lately of spending money, all of them don't accept, say this is true. Remember, before then, it was denial, and the sorrow gets them. They went on live television, social media, begin to go on the offensive for deny. I never see such arrogance and ignorance and idiocy as I witness now for people that we think say they know. That they produce financial statement. That is money out, money in. Bank statement will belong to you. Your date of birth, your address, your account number, your account sort code, and yet you deny. Not them. They never denied. But I have no doubt that then they underarm use people them, and how can you find yourself so gullible that the obvious is there and yet you deny? And up to this day, you get people them way don't realize it. But yes, of course, waiting the Africanist press they talk is true in terms of evidence. But these same few clever people and they try for use the majority of gullible people them for continue for perpetuate that argument. They say, where is the evidence? And this is where I find really breathtaking is like, which evidence are you asking for? So somebody pull me bank statement. It show me employer in pay where they can na me account. This na private, you know, your paper will belong to me bank and myself. But somehow, because me a public figure and investigative journalism, where most people or then they pretend they not understand and want discredit the Africanist press, which I fundamentally disagree with, because none of them have made a case, not even those that are alleged to have been found in wanting and corrupt position. They challenge them, view them, they openly, because then go look so stupid and then clever enough say no, but then go after other people and use them for let them go make the case for them, and then come on public TV and say a receipt is not evidence. A bank statement, stroke, financial statement is not evidence. Are we stupid? Or then things say Sierra Leonean people now 20 years back, 40 years back, where you can control in a narrative via the media, mainstream media, MSM, when are you there in control? You don't understand the power of social media. Are you still sleeping? Are you out of your mind? As I speak so tonight, I got 97 people that watch me. And by the end of the program, 2-3 days later, thousands of people will have watched me. And as we convert this into audio, multiple thousands will have listened to this. And they are waking up and wising up. If you know the catch up, let me tell you, because it's not secret. We don't wish you ill. We just wish that you do the right thing for country and for people. That's what we ask for. You can't continue for do the same. They play on with fears instead of with hopes. This president get the opportunity and still does have the opportunity for make a change. But why? You know, if they may not hold you captive before, when you've been to go through the wilderness, almost biblically like Jesus Christ, and you were not independent. Jesus Christ was independent. I'm not a great believer of the Bible story. Of course, if not story no more, yes, I do. But when Jesus Christ been to go through the wilderness and in trials and tribulations, he was alone into this, apart from Satan, where been come for contempt him, for let it compromise certain things. In terms of the current president, when he been to go through in trial and tribulations during those difficult times, he had to be upkept by others. Whether not cook, then they can't cook for them. Whether not subscription they make towards them, and many other things in the game of politics, you get for engage them people and they embrace them, because of course during your difficult times, those very people stood by you. So when things happen, because now the unwritten rules down they believed in you, you co-sign them and then sign you on. They looked after you with the hope that if things change, it's a reward program. That's what government is. But the people in view need for come first. The others they will support, it need for be secondary because they will benefit anyway. But how do you entertain a system when the beneficiaries are just the few, just a handful? And I'm sure, not past 1,000, I will name few names before I close this program. Not past 1,000, the benefit, because this is a cocoon. And when I say a cocoon, like how they can say no more, demand them inside demand them. So you get man them, and then you get demand them, and then you get, in your opinion, inside demand them. So the thing just get tighter and tighter, where in the end, now very, very few people. So this president not able, I think they can say, the man in the talk. And Mr. Bin feel so. So he was a man of action when he ready to go talk. No, I don't believe that any longer. The reason why he never talk, because it almost seemed like the man is held hostage. By then, doctor, the way they around them. You know how we so get complex pan doctor. Oh, doctor this, Dr. Tambi. We don't, a man we don't get the reputation now for being Mr. 3D engineer. We can make the engineering program, I mean, 3D picture them. We me 12-year-old picking can build for myself, and it's just fabulous. Make the airport, they turn upside down, or Lunge Bridge, motorcar, they pass under the water, and then the water, they turn about. It's something like that. We're so fabulous. And then when you look at all the project, then you see, say, the project, they're fabulous, which some people have bought into, which is not really a bad thing in itself, but people think twice. How feasible are these projects with the money? Like I've been telling a friend earlier, when we've been small, when they do half projects, remember this, so when they do half projects, because up to way million ton big man, then thing and they still been happening. If na road and they go build between Kisi, Waman, Abu, they go all the way Wellington or Gloucester or wherever, that junction there, you go see that big white board with all of the stakeholders. Then the program, almost on that whiteboard, they can almost try for cluster everything into one. Because why? That was independence. That was accountability. That was the process. The people are informed and they are part and parcel of the process because they see them, because it's been spoken and argued through. They don't go through the process. In other words, they don't go through Parliament. And Parliament has seen it. Parliament, where they represent me and you, because we all cannot be in Parliament. Now make we elect we constituency representative them, when they break down by virtue of law, they represent us. So once they agree to that, that is it. But we see a process in which the game they play on the reverse, so much so that the Parliament is accused of serious corruption with Francis Benkaifala. I don't know whose investigation where he conduct and say, no, the Parliament is not corrupt. Where the same parliamentarians, Tawa Conte, a man who have they come for Ador, and hopefully we'll get him on this program one day soon. One day soon, we might have him, because he seems to be a guy who stand out. Honorable Jivao, but later him back out. Itawa, he say corruption. He call him out. Now then they tell we say, the ACC boss, they tell we say corruption, or they are not waiting to investigate, even though the people that were inside the host, they say it's corrupt. And we self they say it's corrupt, but we still believe in the rule of law. So not so we make the decision until it's investigated, because we believe with jurisprudence, legal jurisprudence, everybody, every citizen, you, me, us, we are innocent until proven guilty. Same thing is applicable to Kamarimba Mansari, who is still being incarcerated, his human rights being abused on a daily basis by the same government, by the same His Excellency Julius Maada Bio. We're probably, I know they say not aware of the Kamarimba case because it's high profile, you might be aware. It's also of interest to the First Lady in terms of enhance of our girls, where Kamarimba get for do something directly with that, because it's simple. These are the circumstances where we talk about. This is not physical. We can go into the physical, but Kamarimba, now high-profile politician within your own political party, allegedly had an affair with a minor. We go against waiting the First Lady they try for sale. So now, if the First Lady they spend billions of leons on this Hands of Our Girls project and get this, wide berth. When I say berth, I mean like BERTH, wide anchor in terms of, and they try for still promote them to another level. Kamarimba makes the perfect fall guy. Keep him there, make a hash out of it, let the whole world know. In Sierra Leone, we are serious about what we say. See who is in jail in terms of Hands of Our Girls, people that we want to abuse, we picking them. We're not going to have this. Having said this, I speak against, anybody will try for abuse minor. But the rule of law has to play out. The rule of law has to play out, okay? So President Bio get this chance, this almighty chance, and he seemed for the kick him away. Let me talk about geopolitics finally and close this case. So looking at circumstances, I talked this with one of my young friends earlier. I can let for weigh my opinion with other people, and then we talk about it back and forth. and then try to make sense out of it because no one person knows it all. Britain are with traditional fambuling. And when Maada came to power, of course, he had the support of these people. Fambuling, want to listen to this, King you? Maada had the support of these people, absolutely. Because it's not easy for you kind of power. I tell people in this over and over. So even there, whether not East Street even there or whosoever way you want overlook, it's not just come on and go be president without the intelligence services of this country now knowing that. Probably there was a reason so far they keep on the Southeast. If they want them for be don't go now one of the posh places in London. Okay? But he was here in Southeast. Here in this is same woman. So you can't tell me that I never had a debriefing from MI6, MI5, but let me fast forward them. So when the relationship been the top from the beginning, we see how many couple of times within a short period when Maada was invited to this country. We know that, no, so we know that, we see that. One of the one they want to remember most is when he became, I think that investment summit, when he come to Southeast here, and the level of security we been get. If you're not security-minded person, because that make him do, I can like for step up now the background and just watch what's in the play out. Would that come, would that get gone, you know, security, would that straight looking, you know, tense, would that they look around, would that inside bulging and what have you. So I look at that and notice a Maada get top security. I don't know those kind of security, but I know they been get for do with MI5, MI6. He was well protected. And again, why do I say this? It's clear. When you look, it may get this connection back, you know, to Theresa May because the relationship with good, and this is where the geopolitics and diplomacy comes in. Maada attend the birthday celebration of the Queen. Now, when we look up in diplomatic circles and geopolitics, this was a huge opportunity. Because now so they can define their own. They give you access during a period when the whole world is watching and they open gates for you, where normally can be restricted, but once you deal with them, or then they try for appease you, for open up to them, then give them access, then they spread the red carpet for you, they make you go drink inside glass where you don't want to drink inside, and what have you. This is exactly what they do for we president. Under the auspices of the Commonwealth, because many things been happening, and the Queen will happen for be the ceremonial head of state for 54 countries or so, was in attendance, and Maada attended a program there. Remember them going on horse racing, and this was placarded all over the place, and especially by the supporters of the president, and all those who meant well for Sierra Leone anyway at the time, because this was a big deal. We also see him in many respects with the then British Prime Minister Theresa May here and there, showing them this and that and what have you. If you don't understand that, that get massive implication, okay, in a positive way. But then, waiting happened a few months later, or just after that visit, the president was to go and visit Dubai. A private plane, as I understand, might not be correct, was sent for him here. And then, because of the same geopolitics, Dubai did not be in the good books of Britain, because remember, the Emirati countries and then divided, but the bulk of them, then they're on one side, like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and etc. They are more like British allies. And then Dubai, I think, they've been there with the Iranians or something like that. And that was a huge division if you understand the nature of geopolitics and diplomacy. And then what can happen now? Maada go straight to Dubai. It was a high-flying moment because in wife, First Lady Fatima Bio, also very high profile on that visit day, where the president go visit Usai Fatima Bio, make a lot of money. In when I say make a lot of money, not illegally, but for promote in program hands of our girls. They get beaucoup money. Within that process, there's something else happened, which been very embarrassing to us. We the guy we then call Senesi Tarawali, we now London Jet, I believe say in nickname, also been there on that presidential trip. They were embarrassed the delegation because when I go there, somebody just did tell me because I've been feel say they were all gifted. Because we know that we see them. But in were 3 watches, 3 Rolex watches. So excited was he. But remember, say he traveled on a presidential delegation. And then he wear 3 watches, and then 3 watches, and they, you know, they kind of come out and it's like, who's kind of this? Who's kind of this? So much so that there was a joke, say the president did not say, when I lift na again, where they say, what me? You know, the first man we give man lift na plane. And it was presidential. Of course, London Jets, I believe, they don't fall out of favor, but be one of the presidents in key people. Here is the other thing in terms of the relationship between London and Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone mining, SL mining, now something where the Western power then get interest from. Okay, it serves their interest. When you look at America, you look at Britain, this company is listed. Now the stock market is floating there. And again, Gerard group of companies get interest with now Western organization. But the president come and suspend the licenses of the mining consortium there. And this again now something where they on the record, go on my YouTube page, which has supported the presidency because the case where they make then was one that I agreed with without question. It's like deals were negotiated in bad faith. And for let we profit, then deals there will get for be renegotiated. I remember my first undergraduate degree was something that has to do with mining and all of the funny laws that we involve with disadvantage we anyway. So for once a government, they stand up to their rulings then they be sweet me bad. But people have a different intention. You know them get. Because why I say this, we then begin to see, then they sign sweetheart deals in which the parliament was supposed to ratify, give them the go ahead, had no clue about it. Wasn't that shocking enough and show how disingenuous we leadership are? So except you they support blindly, that's the only way you would disagree with me. Because when I speak citizen, I speak nation, I don't speak color. I don't. I know they entertain tribalism. And at the beginning for go that way, they small because they begin for look like say, this is exactly where we are, and that's dangerous. So now, the British government will get interest on Sierra mining, find out say contracts have been given to the Chinese, and you know how we think say all this nature of their information they come out high classified information. This is not government information. Classified information they come out. Have you ever sat down, take a step back, and then think about it? Have you? So this is how serious it is, family. That's how serious it is. Like I say, I am ending this program. We're not going to run too much into this, okay? Let me look at a man we then call Maada Mustafa, okay? He happened to be a political science lecturer prior to him coming for serve under President Bio. How many of us know about Maada Mustafa? How many of us? How many of us know about him even now? Because there are people lurking in the shadows that we really not aware of, but they are there. We get the names that we were familiar with on a daily basis. We call out these names. Whether not the first minister or chief minister, of course we know him. Whether not Fatima Bio, of course we know her, because these are the prominent names. The Sajusu, JJ Blood, financial secretary, finance minister, and people like this. We know them. Dr. Senge, we know them. Abbas Bundu, but there are people that we really don't know about, but these are senior players within the corridors of power, and one of them happened to be Maada Mustafa, who prior to his appointment as a consultant to government was a political science lecturer at a little unknown. How many of you have heard of a university called St. Rose in the United States? I know they try to demean the border position in any sense, but the idea is that's where he did belong. And then get many thousands of other universities now, the United States, which we don't know about. But the idea that it wasn't one of these prominent universities, and then you can get this prominent role in which thousands of dollars were being given to you. I mean, it just comes as a shock. And here is what it is. Maada Mustafa, will be supposed to be responsible for advising the government on many things. We're supposed to take this government forward, and these are the things because we talk about the failings of the government and whether Maada Bio squander a second chance. This man it take $400. Family, now listen to me, $400 a day. And you know, one day work on any project, or we are at least yet to be told whose kind of project we don't work on. But this is now one of the consultancy. And the reason why I mention this again is because part of the failings of the Maada Bio government, it came on the back of being popular with an opportunity for change, the trajectory of government and country. Yet this man, nine Chinese man say, you ace the stone, big stone, you manage for ASAM, not a small way to for ASAM, only for left hand na you foot, bam. That's what he's done. Get Maada Mustafa and pay her $400 a day as a consultancy. Also, this money come out? The Consolidated Revenue Fund. And then we try for pretend as if we don't understand what is corruption, or when they talk about bloated bill and then try for explain, oh, we employ 7,000 teachers. And then when you say, but the 7,000 teachers, because my understanding is this happens over a period of time. Yes, I get 5-year parliament. Inside this 5-year parliament are the budget for employ 7,000 teachers. I'm not getting the money yet, but this is what I want. So you begin to do the recruiting process, but the impression within the give as if they've employed these 7,000 teachers, and the wages for the 7,000 teachers is already on the national budget. Are you kidding us? Do you think we're dumb in 2021? Really? You don't understand that the narrative is changing for the general good. So it's either you adapt or you don't. Either you adapt or you don't. Let's talk about Dr. P.K. Mwana. Dr. P.K. Mwana, himself na be another university professor. I think he may teach na university na Texas as a guest professor, but they refuse for renew in tenure. When they refuse for renewed tenure, which means that you can't work again, and for some reason, either because you know meets the threshold or whatever. And I'm not questioning the brother because we appreciate, but this one they don't teach in them places that they. And remember, the Sierra Leone People's Party love this boisterous, braggadocio position of, you know, the bookman them. So therefore, when you get a university professor such as Maada Mustafa from St. Rose, which you've never heard about, you get Dr. P.K. Mwana from some university in Texas. These are big deals. But no one talks about his tenure was not renewed. And why? We are yet to learn, and this includes the chief minister who was here in the United Kingdom at Bradford, but we don't understand, say something else happened, but we are investigating that and we will come up with a story very, very soon. Dr. P.K. Mwana, they earn over $7,000. $7,000 with O's and big motorcar. And I'm not saying that the brother should not have this, but doesn't this smell of double standard and very rich for a government we say that we go rein in the excesses, plug the loopholes, the leakages, rein fiscal discipline, introduce a single treasury account for avoid corruption so we know waiting go out and waiting come in. Yet we understand that then people that don't bring all things come together under one purview just for control them, and only them go know, that few they go know, not to everybody go know. So there is an issue of transparency and accountability. We cannot be serious that after 30 years after we war, all waiting the Truth and Reconciliation Committee recommend, we need to follow that. All waiting Pakaba transfer over to Anest to Maada Bio. I don't even know what in the process will happen. Yet we seem for to go in different ways. Let's talk about one more person and we close the program. And this person, Kalilu Tutange. So I mean, they talk about some people that way we know they understand or who know your report at all. You see how they can play with? Because of course, you know the Yeridian names, they are too much now media, but these are senior players within the government. So Kalilu Tutange, now in a demand way responsible for the National Civic Education, program under the Julius Maada Bio government. In other words, it's supposed to develop some social programs then for empower with people and so that we people then will understand where they are. 60 years on. I know say there was a little argument about civic program then. 60 years on, here we are coming, civic education, Kalilu to Tangi. How many of you know about them? But what you would try for doing at the then and now for providing information they are to una, it's not bored out of malice, but una go dig the information there. Una go try for look up Maada Mustafa. Maada Mustafa, okay, who was a political science lecturer at a little known university in the United States called St. Rose. Then Brian Kandong and pay $400 a day as a consultancy. This kind of consultancy where they provide, where merits that kind of money they, where we people then they suffer. That must be of interest to you. Try for find out. And this goes to all party, inter-party. BU APC, BU SLPP, BU NGC, ADP, NURP, whatever. Check this up. These are the questions that we need for the ask. These are all elements of corruption, where you empower certain of your people and they talk about $400 a day from the revenue consolidated fund. And we'll talk about bloated payroll. Between 25 to 45% of what was left for you. And part of your complaint was this bill was so bloated that we need for reining the excesses, plug the hole so that the leakage is stopped, introduce fiscal discipline, don't fly first class, reduce the number of gallons of petrol and the time that government ministries and cars can ply the streets. Yet we are seeing excesses of all of these. And are we serious? Are you kidding us? Are we Sierra Leoneans idiots? Are we being played? Are we going to take this? Or how long more can we do this? This is the information here. It's not about SLPP. It's not about APC. It's about a nation that rises up together as one. Like I've been watching a video yesterday. And I think I shared on the platform then, in which the way how this guy talk about these three things, they come up from Greek philosophy. Three kind of mortal man them. The selfish want them and are just about themselves. The tribal want them and they are tribal as well because it's like that groupings. Tribal not really bad because a nation can be tribal. That's why we share with customs and processes and everything as one, as a people. Like Sierra Leone, for example, 7 million plus or more people in all the country, not on a regional or ethnocentric or ethno-regional basis. No. But rather one. But instead, the same politicians that they play with. And there lies the problem. Famulem, I think I've said enough. And just before I close this program, I want to make una know say, as soon as I can see in my background, Mr. Cherno Alpha Mba will be on this platform. And I repeat, he's done a lot of interviews. A lot. He's giving opportunity to almost every station, and this is necessary because the information process must go on. And one thing when I listen to the brother, all he says, and that resonates with we very well. Now for continue the national conversation, but let's be serious about the national conversation. Now I've given out a few things out here tonight. What we need for do, don't just be told. Go do for yourself your due diligence. If na constitution a mention and a cite a paragraph, a section, a subsection, go check them up. If na word are used, if na government statistics now refer to, go check them up. Let's do this. Because this go help for up the game so that you cannot have people they can't argue with you. Where is the evidence? Where Africanist press pull a check statement in corruption trials, then tell you say follow the money trail. That's how simple it is. But then I give you a check, it get footprint. Financial statement get footprints. Receipts, invoices get footprints. But we see a time when people in the tell we say that then things they are, but not just paper, not just paper. We see a time when people in the try for teach me something else, which are called the new normal. and it's like due diligence. Then try for tell we say it means something else. Probable cause, like the investigation into Siakoma, or just general corruption, or what in probable cause mean. I think there's an element there where make somebody find interest, see they want for look that there's a probable cause. They might not find anything, but because there's probable cause, so they kind of look into it. But people, they try for teach you this thing all over again. And sometimes you can scratch your head and think, have I got this right? Have I got it wrong? But then long after the program, you sit back and then you begin for phantom or try for understand the entirety of the case. So Fambulem will be having Cherno Alpha Ember of the African Express right here on this platform on the 19th. It's going to be a heavy program, one that you've never seen before. So what will they ask Una for do? There's 129 of you here. This is the flyer. We're going to continue for Shebam. But as the national conversation continue, we ask Una, please, don't be selfish. Help for share this particular flyer. Help for take part in the conversation. Type you questions in the chat room. Possibly we will even take 1 or 2 questions. Possibly 1 or 2 questions. And we will possibly ask Mr. Ba whether we can bring and come back on another day shortly, because I know say a lot of people want to ask a question. Even as we speak now, I've got over 35, 36. And that was the day before yesterday when I checked, because I get a special place when they ask me, can we ask questions? But I can ask the questions for, it's like, no, we want to ask the question ourselves. But when you say no, then people begin to think otherwise, although it's not something that I really care about, because you need for get sensei. If you want to ask questions, so are others. Like, for example, we get over 100 people that watch this program now. What if all of them wanted to ask questions? And we had a 1 hour program. I promised 1 hour, 20 minutes. Now we are 1 hour, 35 minutes. And then everybody can ask questions and entertain that. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. But I thank Una very much for listening. We get many programs they come on. Like, for example, during the course of next week, we get a particular program after the Chernobyl program, in which there will be a question as to how satisfied you are with the ACC stroke the boss, Mr. Francis Ben Kaifala. It will be a call-in program. We want to hear from Una. We want the people from Salonieri. We convert them, a video there into words, okay, into voice, and we'll break them down. Like, for example, this is a 1 hour, 30 minutes. We'll break them down into 4, 6 segments of 15 minutes each and just spread them. But this is important, very, very important, that 30 years on, after we were done, 60 years in April of independence, there's not much that we can show for it. A bloated finance bill. And here is the thing. Now, left una with this. If it's not corruption, I wonder how you call them. If we not get the benefit of hindsight, I wonder how you call them. That once upon a time, the finance minister, Honorable J.J. Blood, Safar, took to parliament a presidential impress. It just shows how idiotic others are when I think about the argument where people are going to make. Because now we see, whose government they go care impress go and say on the basis of not wanting financial accountability. And now we can second guess why. Now, because of waiting with the CISO. So by law, you be want to put scarf over we head so that we don't ask, so that will be no accountability process. So you can fly as much as you want, deep into the account as much as you want, spend 5 billion inside 1 month alone, fly from Lebanon, can take recharge money and go back, work out with $1 million in a bag, which is unusual for a president, all within the remit of the law. Because the thing we give grounds and energy and oxygen right now is because the law is being abused. That's what it is. And until we begin to understand these things, we will never make progress as a people. So Sierra Leoneans then, on the basis of this conversation we'll get to now, we actually need for end, okay? And we go end with Innocent, a massive artist. We try for bring country now, we're not able to forget Innocent yet, but I know say one day the brother will be here. So 135 of we do allow we begin scale down because I'm not for left the platform rudely. Yeah. So the program has ended and I thank you very much. Please share this broadcast and also the flyer with the Africanist Press, Mr. Cherno Mba, will be on this program on the 19th of this month, which is March. It's going to be a heavy program because we're going to be speaking truth to power. Thank you so much for listening. And in behalf of the day now, I say good night to you now. So like I said, I want to left now with innocent.
Plans of my enemies, they don't fail. Anywhere I go, now my name can be in. I am fast like cheetah, slow like snail. Plans of my enemies, they don't fail. I am sharper than knife, I am sharper than nail. They are small like ant, I am bigger than whale. Whenever I go, don't leave you one. Nobody will make you jump. Nobody will make you jump. Baba, God, don't leave me up. Nobody go make a jump. Nobody no go make a jump. Shock you, make a shock you. With progress, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With success, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With plenty money, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With big house, I will shock you. And I want me to be a winner. I'm not perfect, I don't say I'm a sinner. Oluwa, I can be my redeemer. I will conquer like Joseph Redeemer. I was born to be a winner. Yes, I don't say I'm a sinner. Oluwa, I can be my redeemer. I will conquer like Joseph Redeemer. Baba, God, don't lift you up. Nobody will make you jump. Nobody will make you jump. Baba, God, don't lift me up. He don't lift me up. Say nobody will make a jump. Nobody will make a jump. Shock you, make a shock you. With progress, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With success, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With plenty money, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With big house, I will shock you. I will be the head, I'm not the tail. Plans of my enemies, they don't fail. Anywhere I go, now my name can be in. I am fast like cheetah, they are slow like snail. The end, I'm not the tail. Plans of my enemies, they don't fail. I am sharper than knife, I am sharper than nail. They are small like ant, I am bigger than whale. Whenever I go, don't lift you up. Nobody will make you jump. Nobody will make you jump. Baba, God, don't lift me up. You don't lift me up. Say nobody will make a jump. Nobody will make a jump. Shock you, make a shock you. With progress, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With success, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With plenty money, I will shock you. Shock you, make a shock you. With big house, I will shock you.
All right, good night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've come to the end of the show, and this is it. Bye-bye, everyone. I'm just closing the program now. We're still 73. Please forgive me, but we have to go. Please don't forget to tune in on the 19th of March when we'll have Cherno Alpha Mba of the Africanist Press telling us about corruption, what it is, who is involved, why they're involved, what is involved, and etc., etc. Good night, everyone. Thank you, and bye-bye.